What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It is time for a brand new video on the channel, and if you watch my Premier League predictions video, you will know that this series is called Beat the Bookies. Now, basically, the aim of this series is to, 1, have fun, and 2, make some profit. Now, the way this series currently, at least for this episode, is working is I'm going to talk you through some bets that I have made and am making, which will all have finished by the time you actually watch this video. Some are still going on as I record this video, but the time this video is out, all the games will have ended. So I'm not essentially making this video to give you guys tips as to what I think you should bet on. If you'd be interested in perhaps a series where I give some of my recommended tips, such as some doubles, trebles, where I think I found good value that I think are likely to happen, then let me know down in the comments. But this series, at least for this video, is going to be me letting you know how I got on with some of my bets. And so basically, phone is ringing. Bear with. Hello? No, I'm filming right now. I'm gonna... Yeah. I'll talk to them about it. It's gonna be sick. Okay. Alright. Okay, just a viewer, phone the office. So to start off this series, I'm kicking it off with a massive $1,000. Don't ask why, okay? My account is in dollars, so all these bets and all the figures I'm going to give you are in dollars. I think it's about $1,000 to like 750 to 800 pounds, so that's the region we're working with. But my starting budget for this series is $1,000, and the aim is to go from there and upwards. Now, basically, the way I see it, if we have an episode and we win and make profit, that's great. If we have an episode where we break even, but we have fun doing it, then that's also great. And if we have an episode where we make a loss, then that is at the very least a lesson. Obviously, if I go 10 episodes in a row and make all losses, I'll probably cut the series because I don't want to be losing massive amounts of money, obviously. But like I said, if I don't make any profit but have fun, then that is a positive. And from lost bets, we can learn something. And also, the term beat the bookies, it's thrown around quite a lot. And if you actually beat the bookies, they can close your account. What bookmakers do, they might look at you and think, this guy's winning a little bit too much. We're going to close his account because he's not going to make us any profit. So the way to beat the bookies isn't to get a high win percentage, because if you're winning more than half your bets, they're going to close you down because you're not a profitable customer. The way to beat the bookies really is to have more losses than wins but still make profit. Okay, that's the way you want to do it, because if you have more losses than wins, then that suggests to them that they can make a bit of profit off you. But if you're making profit, then that's the ultimate goal and you're winning. So I've got multiple different bets going through loads of different days, and there are some bets and games still to go on tonight. But the first bet, I took the $1,000 budget and put it all onto one bet. So let's see how we got on. I chucked $1,000 on a 9-fold accumulator with odds of about 38 to 1. Here's how I got on. I predicted Liverpool half-time, full-time against Cardiff. I predicted that Watford, Chelsea, and Man City would win. And then for the draw no bet market, I had Bournemouth, Leicester, Arsenal, Southampton, and Manchester United. So I included every single Premier League match in this starting bet for the series. And if you watch my Premier League prediction video, you'll see that I had Wolves to beat Brighton 2-1. But I didn't include this in here because it probably would have been a Wolves draw no bet selection. But I wasn't entirely sure, and I was right to do so because Brighton ended up getting the 1-0 win despite all the chances Wolves had. Had I put Wolves draw no bet into this accumulator, then it would have completely lost and we would have started off the series $1,000 down, and I wouldn't have known really where to go from there. Half-time Liverpool, full-time Liverpool against Cardiff, that did come in, so we're all good there. Watford won 3-0, Chelsea won 4-0, and Manchester City won as well. So all of my full-times came through, and all of my half-time, full-time for Liverpool came through. So the only market left in this bet was the draw no bet. And remember, this was $1,000 to return approximately $38,000. Bournemouth, the first one, they did win, so I think at odds of about 1.7, I got that added to my bet. And Manchester United also beat Everton, so I got that added to my bet. Had Leicester, Arsenal, and Southampton all won, I would have received $38,000, but they didn't. Leicester managed to get the draw against West Ham towards the end of the game, and that push, which means the bet drew, so they just take it out of the accumulator, that cost me $9,000 of winnings, making the total go from 38 way down. But before that, the Southampton game against Newcastle, that 0-0 that should have been a Southampton win, cost the winning pot $12,000. So it went from 38,000 down to 26,000 winnings after the Southampton game. Then after the Leicester game, it went down to $17,000. And then when Arsenal drew with Crystal Palace, giving away at the end, it went down another like $4,000 or $5,000, meaning that overall this first bet, the $1,000 returned $12,926.14. So although that could have been a lot more, you know, had Southampton scored one goal, it could have literally doubled. We've gone from $1,000 to $13,000, which is a great start. But remember, we want to get some losses in there. We've got guaranteed profit now for the first episode, so this is where I go a little bit risky. So I withdraw $6,000 from that $12,926.14, giving me the $1,000 that I started with and $5,000 profit. So for this episode, we are guaranteed at least $5,000. So yeah, in pounds, that's about £3,500 to £4,000. Which, hey, for the first episode of Beat the Bookies is good. But of course, we got to get those losses in there. I'm going to talk you through the bets that followed and the bets that are still yet to come as I'm recording. And I'll probably film again tomorrow to update you on how they all went and the overall tally for the first episode. So my next lot of bets really surrounded the EFL Cup. And this is something that I have learned. I've done betting before. And for this first episode, because I really was confident on the outcome, I kind of broke my own little rule. But basically, a rule that I have is if I'm going to make multiple bets, I should try and make it so that one single game can't affect or ruin every single bet. So say I place 5 different types of bets on the Premier League. If I've got, say, Chelsea to win in all 5 of those bets, that's not a good thing, because if Chelsea draw, all 5 of those bets are gone, no matter what happens in all the others. So you want to still be able to win a bet if there is a bit of a slip up. But for this episode, having already made profit, I haven't really followed that rule, but certainly going forward into the future, I am going to look to following that rule. So bear that in mind. There are games that happen in the EFL Cup that I backed in every single bet, and there are games still to come tonight that I've backed in every single bet I've got left. Obviously, there's my reasons for doing that, because I genuinely think it's going to happen. But if there is a slip up, it means all the bets lose. But fortunately, we're just playing with profits right now, so I'm taking more risks to increase the potential prize, because with a guaranteed profit, you can take that risk to try and get thousands more. So I usually have safe bets to try and at least make up the money that I'm spending. So I had $1,000 on a bet of 4.6 to 1 Chelsea, Arsenal and Man City to win their games. The Man City game hasn't actually happened yet. And then a double chance on Bournemouth, Tottenham, Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. Now, Crystal Palace actually lost and Nottingham Forest lost as well. So that didn't come through. Although, obviously, when Nottingham Forest lost, that didn't come through even before Crystal Palace lost. So, you know, that happened. Then basically the next few bets just got riskier and riskier, you know, taking out the double chance, putting the full-time result on Nottingham Forest, the full-time result on Crystal Palace. So as I've said, I shouldn't include a game like that in every single bet, because if they do go drastically against me, like Burton beating Forest and Middlesbrough beating Crystal Palace, then that would ruin all my bets. I should have done more research on the Crystal Palace game. I assumed they'd play a full-strength squad to try and get the win. They certainly didn't, and they had a subdued 1-0 loss. So I lost all of my bets there. So I had a few $20 bets that were returning thousands, and another $200 bet that was returning quite a lot with some of the England National League games, which did fine. It was like a 14-fold bet, and like 11 I think came through, but those are just, you know, with profit. I don't mind spending $20 or a couple hundred on just a bit of a rogue bet to potentially win quite a bit more, because it's all profit we're playing with, it's all having fun. But Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace lost, so that stage, those bets all fell through, because I did put those outcomes in every single bet, at least as a double chance, but obviously they lost. So in a bit. I then put another $1,000 bet at odds of 153 to 1 to potentially win $153,000, and it got pretty close. I was kind of upset, but basically it was Tottenham to win, which they did, Chelsea to win, which they did, Arsenal to win, they did, Celtic to win, they did, Barcelona to win, they did, Nice to win, they did, Athens to win, they did, Porto to win, they did, Getafe to win, they did, Salernitana to win, and they did, CD Alves double chance, which did happen, but then Victoria Pilsen, Sporting and Crystal Palace didn't win. Pilsen and Sporting drew, I believe, and Palace lost. So if Palace won, Pilsen won and Sporting won, it would have been $150,000 for the first episode. So that was kind of like a safe, not safe bet. But as we were playing with profit, I was happy to go for the risk. But my safer bet for yesterday's sort of games that didn't come through because of Crystal Palace was $900 to return $7,176. It was Chelsea, Arsenal, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Young Boys, FC Zurich and Basel all to win, and they did. Both teams to score in the West Ham and Tottenham game. I did think Tottenham were going to win, and they did, but I thought both teams to score would be a safer shout. But Tottenham did win, and both teams scored, so it doesn't really matter. And then I put Crystal Palace to qualify. So they didn't even need to win in the full 90 minutes. They just needed to draw and then win on penalties, but they lost 1-0. So had Crystal Palace drawn that game and then won on penalties, or won that game, we would have had another $7,000, which would have been great. So, and then there were just a few, you know, like a $10 bet on something crazy, a $90 bet on, you know, something, you know, pretty normal. But yeah, so I came very close to making another $10, $20, $30,000 on the Premier League games and then the EFL games. If Crystal Palace won, we'd be looking a lot better, but we're still in profit at the moment. We're still $7,000 profit. Obviously, I'm taking $2,000 more to cap it at $5,000 profit, and here are the bets that I've got going forward today as I'm recording, and then tomorrow I'll update you with how they did. So again, there are results that have to happen for any of my bets left over of the $2,000 to come through. Man City have to beat Fulham, Sevilla have to beat Villanovanense, Espanyol have to beat Cadiz, which is going to be interesting, and Real Betis need to beat Racing Santander. If one of those 4 teams doesn't win, then we don't make any money on the bets today, and we end episode 1 with $5,000 profit. But anyway, let me talk you through the rest of the bets. It's $2,000, 3 bets, a $1,500 safer bet, a $400 bet that's quite rogue, and a $100 bet that is kind of not safe or risky. It's kind of in the middle. I'll start with a $100 bet and make my way up. So it's a 14-fold one for this one. It's Manchester City, Sevilla, Espanyol, and Real Betis to win to 0. And then it's a double chance on Villarreal, Celta Vigo, Eibar, who are currently 0-0 after half an hour, UD Lanera, Sant Soritzi, who are 1-0 up at half time, Zamudio, oh, here we go. Cerdanyola de Valls FC, who are currently 1-1 half an hour in. Yolv Espanyol, who are 1-1 at half an hour in. Zamora CF, who are 0-0 at half an hour in. And Ataf Ind, who are 0-0 at half an hour in. So at the moment, all the games that are being played in that bet are in a winning position, which is good. The $400 bet is a 12-fold, and this one's pretty risky. I don't expect this one to happen, but it's worth a shot. We've got Eibar to win, and they're 0-0, like I said, at half an hour. Celta Vigo to win, Sevilla half-time, Sevilla full-time, Villarreal to win, Espanyol to win, Real Betis to win, Man City half-time, Man City full-time, Standard Liège to win, Anderlecht to win, El Zamalek to win, Feyenoord to win, and Rosenborg to win. That $400 would return $107,623.48. So do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't. Do I think it's worth a shot with the profit we've already made this video? Yes, I do. And Zamora CF have just scored, which is good because we need them or a draw, so that's good to know. And that $100 bet, by the way, would return $15,380, so that's all good. And now the one that I'm really, you know, hoping for to do well is the $1,500 bet. None of the games are actually in progress yet, but it's an 8-fold bet, $1,500 to return $12,471.64. There's no draw, no bets, so if it wins, that is what we're going to get. So the games in this one, full-time result, I need Sevilla, Real Betis, Espanyol, Olympiacos, Anderlecht, and Man City all to win. And then a double chance on Celta Vigo and Villarreal. So out of the 3 bets, obviously that's the one I'm the most confident with. So hopefully I can get back to you tomorrow and say, yeah, those bets won. So that is going to do it for this part of the Beat the Bookies video. But obviously for you guys, in about 10 seconds, I'll cut to me tomorrow and let you know how these games got on. So I'm hoping to get that extra $12,000. That'd be super cool, which would make, you know, $17,000 profit for the first video, I believe. Maybe another bet will come through. Maybe none of them will come through, and we'll end with $5,000 profit, but we can then use that profit for Beat the Bookies episode 2. I probably won't use all of it, but then again, I might. Let's just see how it goes. All right, we're back. It is Friday the 2nd of November for the final summation of the first episode of Beat the Bookies. Now, obviously, I had $2,000 worth of bets left yesterday from the profits, guaranteeing us $5,000 profits, and obviously the $1,000 stake originally, so we take back $6,000 essentially, but that's $5,000 profit. And the $2,000 bets, they all lost, but that is fine. I did learn lessons. I said obviously in this video that when you win, it's great. When you break even and have fun, it's also great. And when you lose, you can at very least learn a lesson. And I did learn a few things. But yeah, so basically the safer bet, it could have come through, but it just didn't. So basically, somehow I was watching the Anderlecht game and they somehow drew. I don't know how. There was 1-1 in the end. They should have won, but that is what it is. And again, Sevilla, probably the safest bet in that safe bet, they somehow drew 0-0. I don't know how they didn't score, but they didn't. And then Espanyol actually did lose to Cadiz. That was the only one in that bet that I really thought maybe wouldn't happen. The $400 bet, a lot went wrong. The $100 bet, however, came fairly close. Man City and Real Betis both both won 2-0 like I thought, but Sevilla and Espanyol didn't, so those failed. Most of them did come off: draw Zamora, Jovi Espanyol, Samudio, Sansori, Ude Lanera, Celta Vigo, Villarreal. They all went my way, but then just a couple more didn't. But that was the rogue bet anyway. But like I said, I did learn some things, especially about betting games that I, haven't done as much research on. It was just kind of a fun thing to do with the profits that I made. So that is it for the first episode of Beat the Bookies. We started the series with $1,000. And at the end of episode 1, we now have, I guess, $6,000 in the pot. Let's just say the $1,000 budget that I started the series with is gone. It's like no longer mine. It belongs to this series. That means we have a pot now from $1,000 to $6,000 for this episode. And you'll be pleased to know, or excited to know, I don't know. It's nerve-wracking, but the next episode will be using, I think, most of, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I haven't done all the calculations for all the bets I'm going to do for Beat the Bookies episode 2, but it will be using the majority, at least, of that $6,000 pot. So if you enjoyed the excitement of this one, the ups, the down, the ride with me, then you're going to look forward to the second episode of Beat the Bookies, where the stakes are 6 times higher, and obviously it's just going to be fun. I love football. I love seeing how the results come out. And for the most part, the money we're going to be using in Beat the Bookies 2 is profit from Beat the Bookies episode 1. And yeah, so it's going to be exciting. I hope you've enjoyed this first episode. If there's anything you want me to do with this series, anything you'd want to change or want to see in it, then let me know down in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next video, which will be on Monday for my Champions League predictions.